The corners of his eyes crinkled.
Who said I had a crush?
No one had to say it, little boy. You had a steady stream of drool lining a path to your chin. At the term, little boy, Nick's brows shot up. He looked her over then, before bringing his gaze back to hers. Then he graced her with a smile. It was the same naughty curve of his lips he'd directed her way the night before. And like last night, she heated up from the suggestions implied within. The man was a hell of a charmer, without having to utter a single word.
Little boy.
His voice was like hot buttered rum, spreading slowly throughout her body. Not as little as you used to be, maybe. She shrugged, going for casual, but her gaze flickered over him. The fact was, the man wasn't little at all. She was above average herself, coming in at 5'8", and Nick had a good 4 inches on her. Maybe more. He was lean and had a powerful build. Taller than most bull riders, but it didn't seem to affect his abilities any. The crush was cute. She had to keep this light. That's all I'm saying.
And you were a tease.
I was the friend's big sister. It was my job to tease. His laugh sounded through her headphones then, coming at her an octave deeper than his words, and it somehow managed to ping off of every single nerve ending in her body. Should I apologize? She forced the words out. I will if you're still crushed over it, but honestly, I don't remember doing anything worth apologizing for. He shifted on his seat, bringing his body into better alignment with hers.
You kissed me on my 13th birthday.
On the cheek? She'd forgotten about that until now. The corners of Nick's mouth twitched.
You kissed me,
he repeated.
And I about peed in my pants.
Or worse, she mumbled. He chuckled again, and when his gaze darkened, she got the distinct impression that he might have truly gone home and given her a bit more thought alone in his room that night. And she really should feel bad about that. He'd practically been a baby. Can I make it up to you? She heard the flirtation in her voice. She hadn't meant for it to come out that way.
I suppose I could think of something.
He winked at her then, and went quiet, turning his gaze to the windshield and stroking the stubble covering his chin, as if in serious contemplation of how she might possibly repay him for making his teen years more painful. Harper grew tight with anticipation. She returned to concentrating on flying, yet kept a watchful eye on the man at her side. When he finally had his answer, he once again looked her way.
You can tell me about the bull you rode.
She kept the smile off her face. She'd known her claim had riled him the night before. What about it?
How long did you last?
How long did you last on your first ride? Not that she'd admit the length of time, or the pain induced from her first ride. It had taken more than a few tries to even stay on for more than 2 seconds.
My first ride was on a sheep,
he told her wryly. His right thumb tapped softly against his jean-covered leg.
And I was 7.
She glanced at him. Did you go 8 seconds on the sheep?
Not even close.
And your first time on a bull? She asked again, but he slowly shook his head.
I asked you first. And anyway, this is supposed to be your way of making up for your years of cruelty, not me telling you my secrets.
And your first attempt at a bull is a secret? He didn't answer. He merely eyed her steadily. She said nothing else immediately, her nerves itching under his scrutiny, and returned to focusing on flying. She'd gone bull riding with Thomas the summer they'd spent in San Antonio. It had been one of the many adventures they'd taken together, and probably one of the many things they shouldn't have done.
Come on,
Nick pleaded playfully. He leaned into her space then, his presence suddenly seeming to suck the air out of the cockpit.